My name is Jodi Glass. I'm going to be 62 in May, and I identify as a radical lesbian feminist Jewish white woman.
Do you think being gay makes aging different?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have watched my in-laws, my godmother, and my own parents age, as well as people who are not as close to me, and certainly there is a major difference. And there's a difference for myself, even as the child of and being gay in a family where the others are not. So I'm the only one who is at least out in my family, in my immediate family, although my nieces are. Well, I'm an activist. I'm a community activist. And I didn't come out. I'm very, very close with my parents. I lost both parents in the last 3 years. So it's been a hard time, and I'm very, very close with my parents. And I did not come out to them until very late in my life, which is very difficult because we were so close. So even being a very strong feminist was a little tough for my dad because I'm the youngest in my family, I'm the only girl, and I come from a very sports-dominated family, male sports. So that was very challenging. It was very empowering for my mom. And then when they learned that I'm a lesbian, that was very different for them, very different. My partner and I are together, very blessed being together 34 years. So I have a very strong relationship. So while that was very wonderful for them, it was very difficult.
What specific challenges do you anticipate as you get older?
Well, I mentioned to you before we started that I'm working on with a group of individuals and local businesses and some associates in development in putting up housing for LGBT seniors downtown in Providence. So I think that aging at any age, I know that aging in any discipline, in any community, with any constituent is a very difficult thing. I don't think that we live in a society where we value our seniors. I saw my own parents who come from very gifted or endowed, or we had a very privileged background. It's not easy getting older, and we don't have a very valued system as far as that's concerned. For LGBTQ folks, it's even more frightening. Our support systems, is certainly in my age category, are more lateral support systems. My generation didn't have children, as that's a generalization, but luckily and lovingly in the generation coming up, there are more opportunities for those people to have children. My own nieces, thank goodness, were able to have children. So their support systems may be different from the ones that my generation have. When we go into long-term care facilities and we say, are there LGBTQ folks here? Very often we hear, no, but they're very welcome, which of course we know there are folks there. And why do we get no? Well, because folks are still terrified to come out in long-term care facilities. It's terrifying going into those places very often, and I'm, again, speaking in generalities, when you're straight. My parents certainly didn't want to move from their own homes, and they didn't have to. But it's terrifying. I think those are obviously the challenges. Nobody wants to move if they don't have to.
How do you stay socially connected?
Unfortunately, my partner would say that I stay socially connected through work, through activism. I believe that we're not going to make a difference unless we stay committed to activism. There's a film that just came to Providence and is touring the country called She's Beautiful When She's Angry, which is all about our feminist movement. And I think that when we leave our movements, if we leave our feminist movement, if we leave our LGBTQ movement, if we leave any of our movements against racism, then we're going to lose our strength and if we leave these movements together, when we start doing these movements separately, then we leave our strength. So my feeling is that if we don't work on these isms together, we're losing it all. The work that I've done, in 1988, I approached then Senator Vicky Letterberg, who is one of my role models, who then became a judge. She has passed on. I approached her about the hate crime monitoring bill in Rhode Island and asked her if she could increase the categories to include gender, sexual orientation, disability. That passed after 5 years, so that we could work on isms together. About 5 years ago, we included the category of gender ID and expression. We still do not count these crimes. I know this for a fact because I read the Uniform Crime Reporting stats at the end of the year. We still do not count crimes against women that could be counted as hate crime when they are hate crime. We're not doing this. So, you know, I think that we're still not, I know that we are still not working cross-community as one. So I think that this does more harm when we're not working together.
What's most important to you at this stage of your life?
My individual life, well, right now I'm looking into housing. My partner and I just got back from Florida. We took a long drive, which was just really wonderful. And we were, just like everybody, really fed up with the weather. And we drove down to Florida and we visited Wilton Station, which is in Wilton Manors in Florida, which is one of the communities that I've been looking into over the past 7 years as a role model for the kind of community I'd love to see in Rhode Island. That is not what we're looking into as a prototype because it's just a different kind of community. But we're going to look at mixed income housing for Providence. For me, that's the kind of thing I'm looking at, is really safe, supportive housing. I know that I have more support in my life. I know that there are more folks who are my age that do not have that support in their life. In my being, I want to help create that living space for folks who need it.
If you could speak to your younger self, what would you say?
Geez, I really wish I knew. You know, I'm really not there. Hang on. It's a really wild ride. I'm not through the ride yet. I think if I'm through the ride, then I'm done. I don't intend to be done. What would I say to my younger self? I want to be that younger self now. I have a lot to learn.
Would you do anything different?
Yeah, I do a lot different. I wouldn't be frightened. I wouldn't be frightened. I think fear is really, I'd like to be friends with my fears so they don't beat me up. Yeah.